President Bola Tinubu congratulates Nigeria's former heads of state, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, GCFR, on his 83rd birthday. General Badamasi Babangida, fondly called IBB, was Nigeria's military president from 1985 to 1993. In a statement released on Saturday, Chief Ajuri Ngelale, Special Advisor to the President, Media and Publicity, said President Tinubu salutes the former heads of state on his special occasion, noting that his endeavors towards the development of the nation, especially in infrastructure and otherwise, notably the completion of the third mainland bridge, which at the time was the longest bridge in Africa. He said the president acknowledges the role of General Babangida in the sculpting of modern Nigeria and commends him for his services to the nation. Ngelale said President Tinubu wishes the former heads of state many more years in good health. The federal government has charged the youth on the need to be creative, innovative and join hands with other stakeholders for rapid socio-economic development in Nigeria. The Minister of State for Youth, Ayodele Olewande, made the appeal on Saturday at the third edition of African Youth Conference held in Abuja. He was represented at the event by Dotun Omoleye. At the event, stressed the need for Nigerian youth to look inward, see themselves as major stakeholders. He assured the gathering of the determination of President Bola Tinubu to continue to recognize the unparalleled potential of young Nigerians with an understanding that they are not only the beneficiaries of his numerous policies but active participants in the process of national development. Earlier, the convener, David Nwokore, emphasized the need for Nigerian youth to tap into the available resources and contribute to national development at all levels, stressing that all hands must be on deck towards realizing the Nigerian dreams.
And essential, especially as we navigate the complexities and challenges facing our continent in the 21st century. We live in a time where creativity is not just a skill, but a necessity. In a world that is constantly evolving, it is the creative minds, those who can think outside the box, who can innovate and transform challenges into opportunities, who will lead the way forward. And in nowhere, this more evident than in the energy, resilience, and ingenuity of Africa's youth.
Companies in the world, when you list the first three, Apple, Google, what you call Meta, Facebook, their cumulative GDP is much more than the GDP of Africa. Africa is a continent of 55 countries, running into trillions of dollars. What's my point exactly? The American dream was made possible because there were individuals who decided to think out of the box, who tapped into their creative juices, used their innate God-given creativity to create services and products that would benefit the entire course of mankind.
Other speakers at the event stressed the need for government at all levels to create conducive atmosphere for youth to contribute to national development, while they also enjoin the youth to engage in adventures that will ensure national development.
Basically, I would say we're trying to see how we can promote education, which is basically educating the African youth, and also writing that to see how education can be a system or a tool for combating poverty in Africa, and also making sure that Africa gets the desirable development that it just basically to harness Africans' potentials.
Activate the youth, and so that we be able to use what we have, our creativity, to actually build Africa, not only in Nigeria. Because when you look at what is happening around us, especially in Africa, the white people have gone so far. You understand me? So, but here in Africa, it seems that we are not using. The youth only focus on making money, quick money, without utilizing their creative minds. We are trying to motivate. So
Governor Hyacinthe Alier has directed security agencies in the state to intensify effort and ensure the safe release of no fewer than 20 medical doctors that were abducted in the state. He condemned in strong terms the abduction of the student doctors who were from University of Maiduguri and University of Jos. In a statement released by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Teso Kula, says students were ambushed and taken away by gunmen along Utupo-Enugu Highway while on their way to the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students Annual Convention in Enugu State on Thursday evening. He warned the criminal element operating within the state to find another base as his administration would not rest on its oars to stamp out all forms of criminality in the state. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the deployment of tactical operatives and assets to ensure the prompt rescue of the kidnapped medical student in Benue State. Recall that 20 medical students of the University of Maiduguri and Jos traveling to Enugu were kidnapped along the Otukpa-Enugu Road on Thursday. The students were traveling for the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students Annual Convention in Enugu when they were abducted. Condemning the student abduction in a statement on Saturday by the force spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi, the IG described the action of the criminals as reprehensive and callous. Adejobi said Egbetokun has ordered the deployment of a substantial number of human and technical resources to augment the manpower of the Benue State Command to ensure the swift rescue of the student. According to him, the Inspector General of Police condemned the kidnapping of 20 medical students who were abducted in Otukpo, Benue State, saying the reprehensible act is truly appalling, callous and unacceptable. He added that in a display of unwavering commitment to the rescue, safety and well-being of the young Nigerians, the IGP has ordered the prompt deployment of a substantial number of human and technical resources to augment the manpower of the Benue State Command and ensure the swift rescue of the beloved students. Hours after the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students released the names of abducted students of University of Maiduguri and University of Jos on Thursday night along Otukpo-Enugu Highway, the gunmen are demanding a ransom of 50 million naira from the families, which they said must be paid in cash. Some of the kidnapped students have established contact with their parents and guardians where the abductors made the demand. The kidnapped students are urging their parents to do what they can to get the money across to the kidnappers to ensure their freedom is guaranteed. The parents, who are currently traumatized over the fate of their children in kidnappers' den, are in a dilemma on how to raise the money given that they just paid school fees, which was not easy to come by. According to a source, the two institutions have been contacted, including the organizer of the annual conference and the parent, as they are all working for freedom of the abducted students. You are still on to Galaxy Primetime News, and coming up next. The Nigerian Defense Academy urges cadets and that their loyalty to Nigeria must be unquestionable. Details of these and more will come to you shortly. Do stay with us. We're glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share a story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 018-666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live update and comment. The dropout rate among adolescents in primary and secondary schools across the southwest region range from 8 to 15%. In this report, correspondent John Felix takes a look at the possible causes and ways to address out-of-school children in the southwest. The report.
As of today, Nigeria is the world's capital of out-of-school children, with about 18.3 million of them, 10.2 million at the primary and 8.1 million at the junior secondary school levels. In the southwest, despite ongoing efforts, recent data show that between 8 and 15% of adolescent girls aged 10 to 18 years are not completing their education, raising concerns amongst educators, stakeholders, as well as policymakers. But then, why has the out-of-school children remain on the increase in the southwest?
We are not even talking about birth control in Nigeria. Even the most countries that are religious, like Saudi Arabia, do make reference to birth control. So if we are giving birth without limitation and with limited resources, where are we driving that? The first thing is for government at the federal level to entrench that law so that we can know what average family size can be in Nigeria. Let me be sincere with you. We have a very strong challenge in Lagos when it comes to people coming in every day, most especially children, in which we did not plan for. It's always difficult, but yet we are doing the best. We are building more schools. We are leveraging at all fronts.
Every state has out-of-school children, and we should map out strategies that we put in place to tackle this problem. And when we talk of out-of-school, it's not only those who never went to school. We are also talking about those who went to school and dropped out at a particular stage. That was their need for extension, okay? And there is need for policy to ensure that those who get out will also come back. Issues of fees do discourage children from going to school. So parents should also be assisted. There is poverty in the land.
While this trend persists, UNICEF's education specialists identify the issue of retention, transition, and completion of basic education as contributors to the growing number of out-of-school children in the southwest.
Where about 70% of children cannot read or write. It doesn't mean that they cannot read or write. What the data is really saying is that if a child of 7 years old can read 10 sentences a minute in another country that is faring well, that means that particular child in Nigeria, even though that child can read but can only barely read maybe 2 or 3 or 5 sentences, not up to 10, that means that child is not competing with their own peers. And that is what literacy and numeracy means.
This suggests the need to build multiple learning pathways to address the growing out of school children in the southwest.
But basically, we are advocating for them to commit to actually ensuring adequate funding for secondary education, and also making sure that they develop credible data that will help them to advocate for support from all angles, from the state governors, from donor agencies, that will help them to address issues on secondary education for the adolescents in their states.
There is nothing wrong in achieving 100%, and this is where we go. And we know there are options, especially from junior secondary to senior secondary. If a child cannot transit, there should be options. What are those options? How accessible are these options? What can we do? Part of the solutions could actually be social protection. There could be change in legislations. There could be change in funding sources.
With renewed commitment from the 6 Southwest governments, the issue of out-of-school children can be brought to its barest minimum. From Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, John Felix reporting for Galaxy Television News.
Wakili Kunle Atoba, the Zonal Director, Office of Education Quality Assurance, Zone 3, Ifako Ijaye, Lagos, advises people in leadership position to rule with love and friendship rather than harshness and witch hunting. He gave the advice during his retirement party in Lagos, Nigeria. Galaxy's Bami Salako, who was there, tells us more in this report.
It was a joyous ceremony filled with cheer and well wishes for Wakili Atoba as he retires from service. The guests, made up of families, colleagues, proprietors and well-wishers, all had wonderful things to say about the celebrant. Their words conveyed the testament to an exceptional and competent leadership, a warm personality and a being with enviable virtues.
In OAQ way, we are going to miss a guru. You know, it's a guru, an evaluator that is a guru. We are going to meet an intelligent, evaluator. We are going to meet a very brilliant and wise evaluator.
We gather today to celebrate a remarkable individual in the person of Mr. Atoba Wakili Kunle, whose dedication and commitment to education have left an indelible mark in the Office of Education Quality Assurance, Lagos State. As the Zonal Director of Education Quality Assurance, Mr. Atoba has tirelessly worked to ensure that our educational institutions meet the highest standards of excellence.
We want to say a very big thank you to you, for you have came, you have saw, and you have what? Conquered. 35 years meritoriously without any blemish. Mr. Atoba, congratulations.
To his family as well, he is regarded as a great man and they are thankful to the Almighty for his achievements.
I'm very happy because my husband will have time to take care of me and my children, and he will have time to rest. So I thank Almighty God for what he has done.
Well, we are doing this to thank God. We are doing this to say Alhamdulillah for a career well spent. Alhamdulillah for the journey from where it started to where it is today. This is just a cause of celebration. It's just to celebrate him. He's been a great father. He's been, you could tell from all of the accolades that you heard while the program went on. We just want to say Alhamdulillah. That's it. Thank you.
Fred Rogers, a popular author, said, "Often when you think you are at the end of something, you are at the beginning of something else." The celebrant of the day shared this opinion too, as he feels he still has more to give, while also giving advice to people in leadership positions.
You are not scared, no inhibition, no fear of the unknown.
Honestly, I am praying that what I've spent in the last should come back. I never know I was doing anything that people recognize. I never think I was doing things that people take note of. I thought I was doing it the way I see it. I never know it pleases people. I'm seizing this opportunity to tell people that wherever you are, whatever the position you are holding, it is not for life. Just mark your time and leave that place for them to remember you even thereafter. We have school owners. It is not common that an evaluator is doing pens down and you have school owners, proprietors, proprietresses, principals, teachers attending because they see us as their enemy. But I want to believe there is no school I enter that I don't add value to what they are doing. So I want to believe they are paying me back today. And that is why I said, if I have the opportunity, I will do more. On this note, I'm giving this advice to those that are coming. It is not when you shout on people. It is not when you victimize people. It is not when you winch on people that they listen to you. Be their friend. Add value to what they are doing. then they will like you. Somebody that like you will not want to offend you, and that is the way. That is where I've been working. When I get to a school, what has always been my aim and objective is what value can I add to this school? Any individual I meet up, what value should I add to this person? So at the end of it, even when I leave, that person will remember me and remember me for better. So I'm advising people that are coming up, add value to people's lives.
During his active years in service, he gathered many awards and commendations, such as Long Service Merit Award from the Lagos State Government, among others. Until his retirement, he was the Zonal Director of the Office of Education Quality Assurance in Zone 3, Ifako-Ijaye, Agege, Lagos.
So we are presenting this to Mr. Wakil.
Irebami Salako, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
The Nigeria Rescue Movement NRM Ogun State Chapter has won the ruling All Progressive Congress APC in the state from rigging the forthcoming local government election scheduled for November 16. In his remarks, Olujobi Ezekiel, during the party's inauguration of new executive in Abeokuta on Monday, said that the ruling All Progressive Congress APC must ensure justice, fairness and equity in the coming election. He also insisted that NRM will not tolerate a show of power by the APC, whereby the party's candidates forcefully win all the local government in the state.
Leaving any stone unturned, especially as regards the local government elections here in Ogun State. I'm using this medium to address the Ogun State Electoral Board that is not going to be business as usual in the forthcoming local government elections. And as a party, we will not tolerate any act of misconduct that has happened in the past to repeat itself in the forthcoming local government elections. Therefore, National Rescue Movement Ogun State Chapter is using this medium to notify OGSEC to do the needful by making sure any decisions as regards the local government election matters are properly discussed and agreed with the right stakeholders of the states.
Also, the chairman Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC Ogun State, Abayomi Sonyaolu, assured that IPAC will properly monitor the elections in order to ensure that the election is not rigged by any party.
My advice to the members of NRM and all the stakeholders there is to put your house in order, to be able to go out and massively to win the AG election and world councillorship, and to all the political parties precisely. Everybody should be ready, because it's not about taking it all again. It is about we need to fight for ourselves.
The Air Force Commanding Air Training Command AVM Nanandi Anamba has urged cadets for the Nigerian Defense Academy NDA in Kaduna that their loyalty to Nigeria must be unquestionable. He, who was the special guest of honor at the final outdoor training exercise for the cadet of 71 regular course and direct short service course 28, he urged the soon-to-be commissioned junior officers of the armed forces that there was no room for compromise, while urging them to fall in line with the leadership concept of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, which is to nurture a professional armed forces of Nigeria that is people-centric, collaborative and capable of meeting constitutional responsibilities in a joint environment. Earlier, the commandant of NDA, Major General John Ochai, said the cadet, after commissioning, would add value to the armed forces of Nigeria.
With no intention to scare you, I must let you know that the field is yearning for the skills you have acquired during your training. Our nation is still faced with numerous security threats, ranging from terrorism, kidnapping, banditry, to economic sabotage, amongst others, which of course the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies are constitutionally mandated to combat. Importantly, the Nigerian Defense Academy has provided you with all the necessary basic skills, character development, and academic prowess that will enable you fit into this system.
Culmination of all the training activities we have gone through in the process of training our cadets to be commissioned as officers of the armed forces of Nigeria. Though there are a series of exercises and camps that will bring you here, but this particular one is unique in the sense that it is the only exercise that live ammunition will be used by the cadets, as well as to simulate battlefield experience.
A non-number commended the NDA for maintaining his age-long tradition in its training system. He said the NDA has provided the cadets with all the basic skill, character development, and academic prowess that would enable them to fit into the system, while Major General John Ochai assured the nation, particularly the armed forces, that the cadets were going to bring a lot of value in confronting security challenges that Nigeria has been facing.
Now, this battle inoculation exercises exposes them to the actual environment that they are going to experience in a battlefield. In a battlefield, you'll be hearing sounds of gunshots, you'll be hearing sounds of explosions, you'll be hearing sounds of your enemy firing at you, bullets whistling over your head, people falling beside you. That is the real deal. So this exercise brings them as close to reality as possible.
These are some of the best trained officers that we are going to commission in the history of the Nigerian Defense Academy. They are airborne qualified, they've done amphibious training and some elements of special forces. They've also been introduced into cyber warfare as well. They are technologically savvy, and I can assure the nation, particularly the armed forces, that this set of cadets are going to bring a lot of value into confronting the challenges that we are facing, particularly in the security area.
Operatives of the Special Tactical Squad has arrested a 30-year-old woman identified as Hawa Yusuf for hiding 1 AK-47 and 4 AK magazines inside a sack of gari. Yusuf was arrested along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway during a stop-and-search operation. The force spokesperson, Muyiwa Adejobi, disclosed this while parading several suspects apprehended for different heinous criminal acts across the country at the STS headquarters in Abuja. Adejobi added that Yusuf confessed that the notorious bandits terrorizing Katsina State, Aminu Basulube, sent her to take delivery of the arms in Danu Madam Camp, Katsina State.
14th August 2024, just recently, 3 days ago, acting on technical intelligence, operatives of STS intercepted one Awas Yusuf, this woman, 30-year-old, of Dosenma, local government of Katsina State. The suspect was arrested while in transit from Lafia, Nasarawa State to Katsina State, inside a Sienna bus along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. And that is one of the reasons we cannot stop police patrol and stop as such. The search was conducted and 1 AK-47 rifle without breech number and 4 AK-47 magazines concealed inside a white sack of gari.
During interrogation, the suspect confessed that it was one Aminu Basulube, a notorious bandit terrorizing Katsina State General Axis, who sent her to take delivery of the arms to Danu Madam Camp, Katsina State. Aside from Hawa Yusuf, the force announced the arrest of over 2,726 suspects in high-profile criminal cases, recovered 150 firearms, 1,788 ammunition, and rescued 207 kidnapped victims within 1 month. According to the force public relations officer, this decisive action underscores the force's relentless efforts to combat crimes and bring perpetrators to justice. The suspects, according to Adejobi, have equally confessed to the commission of the various offences ranging from armed robbery to kidnapping.
The past 1 month that we had the last press briefing at the RRT office, the force has arrested 31 armed robbery suspects, 419 kidnappers, 318 murder/homicide suspects, and 47 for unlawful possession of firearms. The force also arrested 190 suspects for sexual-related offences. 173 suspects arrested for cultism, and 1,548 suspects were arrested for other various crimes across the length and breadth of this country.
We'll now quickly go on a break and we'll return. The news continues. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. We're glad to have you back. 14 years after the 5 kilometers road of Okinya community in Obia Akpo local government area of River State was abandoned after militants threatened, the state governor Siminalaye Fubara has promised to make the road ready by December 2024. The governor gave the promise when he led members of his ESCO on Saturday to inspect the deplorable road, which have led to residents protesting severely without result. The governor said his resolve is to bring dividends of democracy to the doorstep of the people. Hence, he felt it's necessary to visit the abandoned road. The road project, which was abandoned by the Rotimi Amici administration when militants kidnapped 2 of the expatriate workers, citing neglect, is cited in the local government of the immediate past governor, Nyesom Wike.
You can see how excited our people are. It's a road that has been abandoned for the past, at least from what they are saying there, over 14 years. So it means this project means a lot to the people staying here. And for us as a government, it also means a lot that we are doing something that is touching the life of our people.
Opposition political parties in Kaduna State have accused the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission of plans to push them away from participating in the upcoming local government elections with hike on levy of candidates vying for election. The opposition party rejected the 2 million naira levy which the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission imposed on interested chairmanship candidates and 500,000 for councillorship candidates mandated to pay to enable them eligible for contesting in the election. But the opposition party has threatened legal action against the electoral body if it fails to revert to the original amount of 200,000 naira for chairman and 50,000 naira for councillors.
Or rather, you are invited here with regards to the fees that State Electoral Commission of Kaduna State suddenly changed the post, because initially they said we are going to pay 200,000 for the chairmanship, then 50,000 for the councillorship. Suddenly she changed, the chairperson changed from 50,000 to 2 million, from 50,000 to 500,000 for councillorship. We feel they want to discourage other parties from participating in the forthcoming local government election.
We are telling you to go back to status quo. For the past 4 years, we have been on the same status quo. People are finding it difficult to feed. People are finding it difficult to live a good life. We want to tell you, we as Labour Party Kaduna State, we are not in support of the fields that you have imposed for second field, because after the second field, the candidate will still have to go and do tax clearance and others.
The Southern Kaduna People's Union, under the leadership of Engineer Taraba SK, has expressed its concern over the sad, worrisome and devastating news of the killing and destruction of farmers' crops by herdsmen in Karu local government area of Kaduna State. The union described the heartbreaking incidents which took place and affected several people as very disturbing. Taraba said it is particularly sad that it affected struggling people who can hardly afford to feed. Sokapu leadership also called on Governor Ubasani and all security agencies to ensure the arrest of perpetrators of the dastardly act where such crimes are committed. The group called on government to provide palliatives to the affected people to enable them pick up pieces of their livelihood and continue with life. In another development in Kwasan, Dr. Ishaya was killed and 8 other people kidnapped within the same Karu local government area, while the district head of Garu Alhaji Babangida Adamu Suleiman was kidnapped in Lere local government area, and Pastor Peter Shambayan was killed in Katul crossing community of Kachia local government area. The United States military veterans of Igbo descent have expressed confidence that a return of Nigeria to 1960 and 1963 regional autonomy is the only way to mitigate its socio-economic and security problems currently facing the country. In a statement jointly signed by Dr. Sylvester Onya and Dr. Godsin Ubagu, President and Secretary of AVID, respectively, urged the federal government to listen to the yearning of Nigerians for restructuring of the country. The body described the state of the nation as not so encouraging, noting that it is high time for political leaders and other stakeholders to come together and channel a workable way forward for the country. The military veterans also commended President Bola Tinubu for signing the Southeast Development Commission bill into law, adding that the move further ensure development in the region. They, however, reiterated the call for immediate release of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, saying political solution must be adopted in resolving the situation. And now we'll move over to the foreign desk for more news. Hello and welcome to Foreign News. The Israeli military launched a campaign in Gaza to destroy Hamas in response to an unprecedented attack on southern Israel on 7th of October, during which about 1,200 people were killed and 251 taken hostage. More than 40,000 people have been killed in Gaza since then, according to the territory's Hamas-run health ministry. A ceasefire deal agreed in November saw Hamas release 105 of the hostages in return for a week-long ceasefire and the freeing of some 240 Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. Israel says 111 hostages are still held, 39 of whom are presumed dead. In a recent joint statement, the U.S., Qatar and Egypt stated that they had presented a proposal for a ceasefire and hostage release deal that narrows the gaps between Israel and Hamas. Israel has said any ceasefire deal would require the release of the remaining hostages. Some have already been released, while others are thought to have died in Gaza. Relatives of hostages still in Gaza are calling the current negotiations as a last chance to get some of them out alive. After 10 months of war and thousands of casualties, there's overwhelming pressure for a breakthrough. A wider regional conflict in the event of talks between Israel and Hamas collapsing completely is a distinct possibility and is something all of those involved are fearful of. It started as a last-minute effort in February. Organizers in Michigan hoped to see the state's Democratic primary to send a message to President Joe Biden to end his support for Israel's war in Gaza. 6 months later, Biden is no longer the Democratic presidential candidate, but the U.S. ironclad support for the war continues, and so has the uncommitted movement, the protest effort born in Michigan. Initially, the aim was to encourage primary voters across the country to cast their uncommitted ballots in protest of the war. But now that the primary season is over, the uncommitted movement has set its sights on a new platform, the Democratic National Convention. Next week, 30 delegates from 8 states representing some 700,000 voters who cast uncommitted ballots will be heading to the convention in Chicago. Though they have been denied an official platform to speak at the proceedings, they hope their presence will still send a strong message. Mohammed acknowledged the uncommitted delegate will be a minority at the convention. Still, she emphasized the voter base they represent could be decisive in November's general election. The group had requested for Dr. Tanya Haj Hassan, a pediatric intensive care physician who has worked in Gaza, to speak at the convention. An Israeli airstrike in southern Lebanon has killed at least 10 people, Lebanon's Ministry of Health has said, as the Israeli military reported hitting a Hezbollah weapons storage facility. The death toll from the strike in the ministry said in a statement that a residential building was hit. Israel's military claimed on its Telegram channel that the Air Force had struck a weapons warehouse of the Lebanese armed group Hezbollah overnight in the area of Nabatia, located at 12 kilometers from the nearest point to the Israeli border. Earlier, the military posted on social media that its fighter jet attacked military buildings in the villages of Marun al-Ras and Eita al-Shabab, more than 50 kilometers south of Nabatia city. Hezbollah said it launched rocket and drone attacks in retaliation. The Israeli military said there were no casualties from the attack targeting the settlement of Ayet el-Hashar, as some of the 55 rockets launched fell in open areas. Still on foreign news, a prison break in central Haiti has resulted in the death of at least 11 inmates, the authorities said. The third such incident this year amid a continuing humanitarian crisis fueled by gang violence. Police said inmates broke out of a prison in the coastal city of Saint Mark, some 88 kilometers north of the capital, Port-au-Prince. 11 suspected escaped inmates were killed in shootout with police and one was arrested. According to Michel Angel-Louis Durin, spokesman for Haiti National Police, according to Newsman, he did not provide further details, including how many inmates escaped. Social media footage that could not be immediately verified appeared to show people climbing over walls and smoke streaming out of walls lined with barbed wire, a loud explosive and fire. Haitians' prisons are severely overcrowded and pre-trial detentions can stretch for years. Automonters or local government officials said the incident spiraled from a protest as prisoners were going without food and facing poor health conditions. In December 2014, nearly 3,500 inmates escaped from a prison in St. Mark after sawing through steel bars. Authorities said conditions in Haiti's prisons are squalid, with many cells filled to close to quadruple their capacity. The United Nations has said a lack of basic necessities has killed 109 inmates so far this year. Doctors in India have begun a national strike, escalating the protests against the rape and murder of a female colleague in the West Bengal city of Kolkata. The Indian Medical Association, the country's largest grouping of doctors, said all non-essential hospital services will be shut down across the country on Saturday. The IMA described last week's killing as a crime of barbaric scale due to the lack of safe spaces for women and asked for the country's support in a struggle for justice. Protests against the attack and calling for the better protection of women have intensified in recent days after a mob vandalized the hospital where it happened. In a statement, the IMA said emergency and casualty services would continue to run and that the strike would last for 24 hours. The association president told newsmen who have been suffering and protesting against violence for years, but that the incident was qualitatively different. If such a crime can happen in a medical college in a major city, it shows everywhere doctors are unsafe, he said. Doctors at some government hospitals announced earlier this week that they are indefinitely halting elective procedures. And finally, on foreign news, wildfires had engulfed swath of western Turkey, triggering the evacuation of nearly 4,000 residents, the Disaster Management Agency said. Helicopters and water bombers, which were grounded due to strong winds, were brought in to battle the blaze on Saturday in the resort city of Izmir on Turkey Aegean coast. Interior Minister Ali Yerkulakaya said 900 residents in 5 affected districts were evacuated overnight in Izmir, the country's third most populous city. The Disaster and Emergency Management Authority said on Saturday that 1,430 people in Izmir were taken to safety, 1,475 in Manisa, 516 in Bolu and 550 in Aden, after a total of 131 wildfires broke out on agricultural and forested land in these cities over the past week. Agriculture and Forestry Minister Ibrahim Yumakli told newsmen that overnight 17 residential homes were burned and 105 houses and 44 workplaces were evacuated in Ismail Yamala neighborhood. About 1,600 hectares have been affected. The minister added, 6 people have been detained over suspected sabotage relating to the wildfires, 2 of them in Izmir and 4 in the northwestern city of Bolu, according to Yukmakli. Wildfires are common in Turkey, Mediterranean and Aegean regions during the arid summer month. Elsewhere in the Mediterranean, heat waves this year have also caused wildfires. At least 1 person died after Greece's worst wildfires this year broke out on the outskirts of the capital, Athens, in the recent days. And that's all we have on the foreign news. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle with Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share a story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. And that's all we have on Galaxy Primetime News. Thank you so much for being a part of the news. My name is Nen Wang Yilmazaka. Goodbye.